All right, everybody. We are late already. We're on the 74th mission of Electron. Happy day, happy day. And let me get ready to share here. We got some new hosts today.
Today's launch operations.
Thanks, Sam. That's right. It's an exciting morning over here at Mission Control, where we're preparing for our latest mission for the Japan-based Institute of Kyushu Pioneers of Space, or iQPS. Launch preparations have been underway all morning at LC1, and everything is looking green so far with the rocket, the weather, and the range. We're locked in and targeting the top of today's launch window, with liftoff set for 8:51 local time or 7:51 UTC.
All right, excited to be here, guys. Appreciate it.
Today's launch is our 6th satellite deployment for iQPS's constellation of Earth imaging synthetic aperture radar satellites. We've been the primary launch provider of their constellation since they began launching their QPS satellites, and we've got another 6 missions to come for the constellation following this one. We've named today's launch the Nation God Navigates, as the satellite we're sending to space is called Yachi Hoko 1 for the Japanese god of nation building. Today we're headed to a 575-kilometer circular Earth orbit at a 42-degree inclination to deploy Yachi Hoko 1, where it will join its fellow gods in space, all already delivered there by Electron. That includes the Moon God, the Lightning God, the Sea God, the Mountain God, and in August, the Harvest Goddess. So today, it's the Nation God's time to fly.
With this being our 6th mission for iQPS, we recently signed an additional agreement for a further 3 launches, totaling 12 launches for their Earth imaging constellation. Each dedicated launch, like the past 5, is for a single synthetic aperture radar, or SAR, satellite. We even provide the separation systems for these missions as well. They'll be deployed from a Rocket Lab motorized light band.
That's right. It's a privilege to be the primary launch provider for the iQPS constellation, and we're looking forward to many more. Let's hear now from the team directly about their mission and SAR constellation capabilities.
Founded in Fukuoka with the mission of establishing a space industry in Kyushu, iQPS marks its 20th anniversary in 2025. Today, together with more than 25 partner companies, mainly based in northern Kyushu, we are developing the world-class small SAR satellite, QPS SAR. SAR satellites use radio waves, enabling observation of the Earth's surface day or night in any weather. iQPS is steadily working toward a 36-satellite QPS SAR constellation, aiming for near real-time Earth observation almost anywhere on the globe.
Are those lasers?
Since
those
launching
laser
our first satellite in
radio.
December 2019, we have continued to expand our fleet and gained extensive expertise in operations. In March 2025, our new R&D hub, QSIP, was established. QSIP integrates manufacturing, testing, and shipping on one floor, enabling production of up to 10 satellites per year. This boosts efficiency and development speed, accelerating launches and service readiness. Partnering with government agencies, infrastructure operators, and others, we are already delivering results by combining satellite data with image analysis and AI. Our satellites are used for inspecting large infrastructure and monitoring wildfires, earthquakes, eruptions, and other disasters, helping detect crises early. As natural disasters and geopolitical risks increase worldwide, the need for our high-precision observation data grows more urgent every day. Faster, more accurate, covering more places than ever before. We will continue expanding our constellation, realizing a world where Earth is observed more frequently. Unlocking the potential of space and contributing to human progress. The challenge of iQPS continues.
Yes, this is Bonfire Night. We're lighting it off. New
We've
Zealand.
absolutely loved working with
Launch site
iQPS to
1B.
build their constellation, and we really are honored they've trusted us as their go-to launch provider. In fact, we've actually had more Electron missions for iQPS this year than any other customer. And it's a beautiful partnership. All right, so we've got a nice frosty Electron in front there. The team is finalizing loading liquid oxygen, or LOX, into the vehicle. Yeah. This super cold, high-performance propellant is loaded onto Electron as close to launch as possible, as it's essential to keep it in its super chilled state. The stage operator is responsible for fueling ops, and their status will be confirmed next during the go, no-go poll. Today we have operators in mission control here in Auckland and at the launch site in range control. We actually have 5 mission operation centers where we can operate both launches and space operations.
And today's launch director is Taylor Moore, who is managing the mission from the range. Taylor will poll each of our station operators for their readiness to proceed to launch. We're looking for a go from each operator to confirm that Electron is ready for flight. Let's check in with the LD now.
All right, T-minus 12, as always, checking in with the team, doing the go, no-go.
To all operators, we're proceeding with the go, no-go sequence. Commencing with stage.
Stage is go.
Avionics.
Avionics is go.
GNC.
GNC is go.
Beacon.
Beacon is go.
T1.
T1 is go.
GC.
GC is go.
PLS.
PLS is go.
RSO.
RSO is go.
MET.
MET is go.
MM.
That is go.
That is go.
LSUP.
LSUP is go.
The go, no-go sequence is complete. We are T-minus 11 minutes and 27 seconds and counting. We are go for terminal auto sequence at T-minus 10 minutes. From this time, the 3-word procedure is in effect.
All right. You can see the bright white on the rocket, obviously.
Fantastic. That's a resounding go across all systems. And the Nation God is cleared for flight. We're now at T-minus 11 minutes in the countdown, and so far the mission is continuing nominally. The payload is healthy, and the weather is still looking good for today's mission. Our T0 launch target is set for 8:51 a.m. While we wait for the LOX loading to be complete, now is a good time to share an update on another Rocket Lab mission that's about to launch. This time involving 2 of our spacecraft bound for Mars.
Ooh, little Escapade
the Escape
update.
and Plasma Acceleration and Dynamics Explorers mission, or Escapade, will send our 2 spacecraft to Mars to study the red planet's unique hybrid atmosphere for NASA and UC Berkeley's Space Sciences Laboratory, helping scientists better understand the processes that drive space weather changes there.
That's right. The 2 spacecraft named Blue and Gold after Berkeley's school colors are in Florida and ready for launch from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. The pair are based off our Explorer spacecraft platform. Now, when they're in their stowed position, they each measure about 1.5 meters wide or around 5 feet. But once their solar arrays deploy, that measurement extends up to 5 meters or around 16 feet wide. Each of them weigh just about 200 kilograms or 440 pounds, and they weigh more than double that once they are fully fueled for the mission.
After launch, the spacecraft will loiter in Earth's neighborhood for 12 months until the planetary alignment window opens for their 22-month journey ahead of them to Mars. It'll take 11 months to get there as part of the crew stage, and then the pair will have 11 months to conduct their primary science mission once they're at the red planet. The twins have been patiently waiting for their moment, and that time to launch to Mars is now closer than ever. Let's take a look at the journey the Escapade spacecraft and our team have taken these past couple of months to be ready for their mission to Mars.
They're getting too good at these
Escapade
screens.
is a low-cost, dual spacecraft science mission to study Mars's hybrid magnetosphere. It's funded by NASA, science is led by the University of California, Berkeley, and the spacecraft bus is provided by Rocket Lab. The bus is basically what takes the science instrument from Earth,
That logo,
and
man.
it's what keeps the satellite alive.
Right on the side.
The more we learn about other planets in our solar system, the more we also learn about our own planet and its past and maybe its future as well. You know, this mission to Escapade and going to Mars is helping us understand its magnetosphere. But not only that, with a platform like this, it can be adapted to do many different missions, and each of those missions may have their own way of improving life here on Earth.
So Escapade represents basically doing science at a order of magnitude lower than previous. You know, we're doing it for, less than 80 million for spacecraft and launch, which is huge.
One of the ways we made these spacecraft at the price point we did was by developing them over about 3 years instead of the typical 10.
So today we brought our spacecraft in from the truck into our integration facility here, and we've been moving our spacecraft to the rotation fixtures and setting up our ground support equipment for the rest of our testing campaign for our launch. There's been a ton of work leading up to this. I've been working on this program for almost 2 years now. Definitely means a lot to be here and this close to launch.
I think the team is amazing. There's been, a few ups and downs along the way, and they just keep persevering. It's been a lot of hard work to get to this point, for sure.
I think the biggest challenge here is that part of the NASA Simplex mission is that we have to be compatible with a lot of different launch vehicles. So actually trying to design for 12 different vehicles and then eventually getting down selected to New Glenn was actually quite difficult on all those performances of all the loads. So I got to design the spacecraft to be fairly robust, which is great because it's helping us get through on this rocket coming up.
Escapade really fits well into Rocket Lab's overall mission to be an end-to-end space company, and it's a beautiful example of what we can do when we bring everything in-house. The Escapade propellant tanks, for example, they were developed in record time, less than half a year.
Look how
Rocket
beautiful
Lab is
those
an
are.
end-to-end company, so we're fully vertically integrated. We found a way to be able to parallelize the entire development and production of the spacecraft by making the tanks on their own timeline, and then when they were ready, integrating them on the spacecraft.
Honestly, it feels like a dream come true to be working on a Mars spacecraft. I'm touching hardware that I've had an impact in designing and building and testing that is going to another planet.
I think to see it for real for the first time will just be kind of pretty surreal to begin with. We'll probably all be gathered here for the launch, and we'll just be waiting for first contact. And I think once we get that, it'll be all systems go, and from there it will just be from one milestone to another, and it's just going to be fun to be part of that journey.
And my dream is that planetary exploration also goes from billion-dollar government programs down to something much more achievable that is within the budget of a university. And Escapade takes that first step.
What it unlocks is additional deep space, high delta V missions. Things like Mars telecommunication orbiters, asteroid rendezvous, mission to Venus, or even further.
Sick logo. Very inspiring. The thing that upsets me is these guys used to have a lot more downtime.
Escapade is such an important mission. The
inch of
science
space
that Blue and
with
Gold will conduct
commentary
could help
and
researchers better
good
understand
ads.
not just how the atmosphere and magnetosphere evolve at planets like Mars, but also use that science as a model to compare Earth's own magnetosphere and atmospheric escape. We can't wait to see this mission finally fly soon. We've got our fingers crossed, so keep an eye on our socials to follow their journey to Mars once Escapade is launched.
All right, 5 minutes, 25 seconds. Some cool details about Escapade.
GCL mission. GCLD.
Not sure if any of you
Hold
guys
down
saw it
mechanisms are
already,
armed.
but
Strong bag is retracted for flight. Copy GC.
they already did the static fire for New Glenn. So hopefully within the next month or so. I think it's supposed to be no earlier than middle of this month. So I think it was like the 15th or something like that. No earlier than the 15th, I believe. Maybe it was the 20th. I'm trying to remember. Let me see. New Glenn to launch date. Okay, November 9th. November 9th. So potentially later this week. Or early next, rather. No, Sunday.
Now back to Electron and today's launch from LC1. We're just 4 minutes away from our T0 liftoff target right at 8:51 a.m. local time here in New Zealand. We're tracking no issues with the rocket, the payload, the range, or the weather as we head into the final count. Electron's flight computer will take over the countdown and run the last 2 minutes or so of the pre-launch autonomous operations. That includes final top-offs of liquid oxygen to the propellant tanks and peak pressurization across both stage 1 and stage 2 ahead of
All right,
liftoff.
just
Once
under
we
4
check
minutes.
those boxes, it'll be time for that final 10-second countdown. So let's switch back over to mission control and listen in to the final count. We'll be back with you after liftoff. Go Electron.
You know, it'd be really cool if they had a back-to-back launch and they had 2 rockets on pad A and pad B at the same time. Can you imagine? That would be absolutely insane. All right, so we got 3 minutes and 25 seconds. And excited to be here. Excited I was able to see it. For some reason, I thought it was next week. I've had a lot going on, so just excited I've been able to catch up with it. And at a perfect time, because otherwise I would be at the office and I wouldn't be able to stream this. So fortunately for me, it's just about 8 p.m. here in the UK. So yeah,
To all
not at the
operators,
same
from now
time. I don't
on, there
mean
should be no
launching.
red flags in your critical LCCs. Beacon LD on mission card.
I don't mean launching at the same time,
Lock
but
the
just
auto
like
sequence and confirm.
having one and testing one on the other, you know?
Confirm all flight computer ASGOs are green.
All ASGOs are green.
Copy, Beacon. To all operators, we are go for auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes. LD is go for launch.
Yeah, if the stream is lagging, I'm sorry. The internet's not the absolute best here, but 3 at the same time. Yeah, just get a conveyor belt out there. What are they doing? All right, 2 minutes, 20 seconds. But yeah, this is interesting because I just heard an announcement from somebody on X. I don't know how true it is, but it seems like that they're planning for another Wallops launch here in the middle of this month. So this will continue the pace of 20 launches in the trailing 12 months, because I believe the last launch was the 4th or 5th of November. So unfortunately, now that we are in the 5th of November,
is fully on internal power.
we're 365 or 366 days since that launch.
is green, enabled for flight.
So we cannot consider this the 21st launch. So we still maintain 20 launches. But I believe the next launch was like late November, if not mid-November at the earliest. So we have a potential, if this one comes off in the middle of November,
Launch is complete. System is in recirculation.
as stated, that we could have 21 launches. So actually, I'm curious now. I used to have that off the top of my head, but excited because this makes my life easier, because I already put in the 5th of November as the date for the 74th launch, and they met that target. So it makes it easy for me. The date after, so they had one on the 5th of November, and then they had one on the 24th and 25th. And if you guys remember,
disabled.
That was the one where they did less than a day's turnaround. So they did one in Wallops, I believe, and they did one in
Stage 1
New
and
Zealand.
Stage 2 tanks are pressed for flight.
All right, 45 seconds to go.
High flow engine purge enabled.
We got some friends over here on Kick. So if you guys aren't following me on Kick, please please give me an opportunity to send it over to you guys. Appreciate the love I get. As long as I can help anybody. Helping everybody with their learning curve. That's all I
T-minus
can
20
want
seconds and counting.
to do. So. All right, 20 seconds. 10,
9, 8, 7.
Let's fucking go.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition.
Looks like a healthy one. Wow, you can see how quickly that that white turns kind of grayish, huh? I don't know if it's just the sun reflecting off, or you can already see the ice chipping off. How cool is that?
Stage 1, propulsion nominal.
Electron has cleared the launch pad, and the Nation God is on its way to space for iQPS. Velocity is quickly climbing at more than 800 kilometers an hour and counting, with Electron just past 5 kilometers above LC1
Just
right
crossing
now.
1,000 kilometers
The
an
first
hour.
thing we want to listen out for from Mission Control is the call for Max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure. It's that moment during ascent when Electron's increasing speed meets decreased air density to cause the maximum amount of stress against the vehicle. Let's listen in.
All right, we're about 20 minutes into the stream. If you guys haven't seen an ad yet, please hit 1 in the chat.
Nice, clean sailing through Max Q for Electron there. The vehicle speed is climbing nicely past 2,500 kilometers an hour, now at 1.5 minutes into the mission. Next up after Max Q will be MECO, or Main Engine Cutoff, which is the command to shut down Electron's 9 Rutherford engines on the first stage. Once this happens, the first and second stages of the rocket will separate, and the single remaining Rutherford engine on the second stage will fire up to fuel the rest of the Nation Guard's ride to orbit.
Look at that.
We should be able to check out both stages during that separation event, so keep an eye out for that milestone as it occurs.
Stage 1, propulsion holding nominal. Stand by for MECO in approximately 30 seconds.
You can still see Mejia right in that little corner on the left. And you can see the western coast. Sorry, that's the eastern coast. The eastern coast of
15 seconds to staging.
New Zealand.
And
so crazy.
Deck mode.
Talk about crazy. That's insane. All right, here we go.
MECO confirmed.
That'll never get old, James. That'll never get old. I'll never forget when I listened for the first time and that went off and you heard it. Blew my goddamn mind.
And that's confirmation the stages have cleanly separated, and our vacuum-optimized Rutherford engine on the second stage has fired up to continue the mission to orbit. Electrons moving
look at
now
that view
at
of New
more
Zealand
than
right there.
7,900 kilometers per hour, past 100 kilometers in altitude. Next up will be fairing separation from this second stage. This will mark the first time QPS SAR-14 has been exposed to the vacuum of space. We might be able to see those two fairing halves split and fall away from the onboard camera view. Let's watch out for that now.
Yeah, the battery packs have definitely gotten a lot cleaner looking, or maybe it's just the quality of the camera.
Fairing jettison confirmed.
But it definitely looks a lot more smooth. I remember
Discharge holding nominal.
in previous launches they were not that smooth, and it's really been the last.
And there they go, fairing jettison confirmed for Electron. And there on your screen is the QPS SAR-14 satellite ahead of payload deployment.
So insane.
Some things you'll hear from Mission Control shortly will be HV battery discharge nominal and approaching hot swap, both of which are callouts related to the batteries powering the Rutherford engine on Electron's second stage. These batteries are essential for driving the electric pumps that supply fuel and oxidizer to the engine.
Yep. But like most batteries, their energy eventually runs out. And since the second stage burn lasts longer than the capacity of the initial set of batteries, Electron executes a critical maneuver called the hot swap. During this process, the rocket switches to a fresh set of batteries while the engine continues firing and gets rid of the depleted ones. This action is a key milestone in the second stage's path to orbit. Let's watch and listen.
Dude, it's just amazing how well they've done, continuously progressing in such a good manner. I want to see, I need to look at when the last failed launch was. I should knock on wood there, but they've only had 4 out of 74. Like, that's insane at this moment. I mean, they haven't technically achieved mission success on this yet. I should knock on wood again, but
guidance is nominal. 200 seconds remaining.
It looks like it's going in a very good manner. You can kind of see already. Shout out to the flat earthers out there, the curvature of the Earth, and really starting to see how you're starting to go into an orbital-like trajectory than just straight up perpendicular to the Earth's surface. Really cool.
HVV discharge holding nominal, approaching hotspot in roughly 30 seconds.
Was it October? I think it was around there, Curtis. It was definitely around there. It might have been September, because I talked about it in the 3Q earnings call.
Throttling down.
So I want to say it was September. I'm gonna go look in the background. Oh, there you can hear the sound. So cool.
Confirm hot swap successful.
And that's a clean and successful hot swap. The second stage, Rutherford is firing hot and nominally after that action, exactly as expected. The mission has a bit further to go beyond Earth before we reach our next staging event ahead of our 575-kilometer target orbit.
HVV discharge holding nominal, and AFTS has saved.
We have a few more minutes left in this second stage engine burn before Electron reaches its nominal transfer orbit and separates the kick stage with the QPS SAR-14 satellite. Because the kick stage is released in an elliptical pattern, a transfer orbit will bring the kick stage to the altitude of its planned 575-kilometer circular orbit. That journey takes about 40 minutes or so from the moment the kick stage is separated from the second stage. Once the kick stage reaches its target, its own engine will light up to perform additional maneuvers to circularize its altitude before deploying Yachihoko 1 to join the rest of iQPS's constellation.
Yep, so September 19th it was launch 41. So we are now 33 launches past that. Insane.
Right,
Good,
so we're coming up now on our final staging event before payload deployment. It's a process very similar to MECO, which we completed with the first stage just a few minutes ago, but this time we have SECO for second engine cutoff of that vacuum Rutherford engine you see on your screen over there. We should see it shut down in preparation for the second stage to release the kick stage and send the Nation Guard on its way to orbit. Standing by with mission control now.
Everyone's in Tessa's DMs. Sylvia, what's going on? Thanks for joining us on Kick, my guy. Much appreciated. But yeah, that's insane. I need to actually maybe make a chart. Actually, I can do that while I'm
SECO confirmed.
Because the first one was a failure.
Stage separation confirmed.
Great news. That is SECO confirmed on the second stage and a successful deployment of the kick stage to a nominal transfer orbit. Great news for the mission so far.
We're here in an elliptical orbit for about 40 minutes or so until we reach our planned apogee. And then it's our Curie engine's time to shine. Curie is our secret sauce to our extreme precision. About 4 minutes before payload deployment, our tiny Curie engine will ignite for a 3-minute burn to circularize our orbit ahead of delivery for QPS SAR-14.
That's right, but for now, we're going to take a break from the broadcast while the kick stage does its thing. And we'll come back and join you to listen in on those final moments before payload deployment. See you back here shortly.
All right, I appreciate you guys hanging with me. Let me put this on mute because unfortunately, we cannot stream the music, but successful seems like departure, successful to getting to low Earth orbit. Oh, I thought you meant when you said rocket lab to 100, I thought you meant launches. I was like, I don't know, man. Yes, I am. Well, I've been trying to get different presence on Twitch and Kick. I have a decent presence now on YouTube, I'd say. And because of that, I've had a lot of people reach out to me with positive notes about YouTube and helping them. And while I'm they're obviously the ones that deserve all the credit. They're the one that clicked the button to buy. Um, Want to see if we can establish a good community on Twitch and Kick. Why limit to just YouTube, right? No, I haven't actually. That'd be awesome. I'm currently streaming from the UK because I'm on a business trip, but I normally stream from Texas. I have thought about this as well, actually. At the moment, unfortunately, the StreamYard only lets you do 3. And maybe if each stream made enough to kind of pay, which I guess at this point my streams pay enough for me to pay for a premium subscription. But StreamYard is actually $25 a month, so it's actually, I'm not sure. I think what is that? 25 times 12. I'm not good with math. Like $300 some a year, maybe more. And then I'm not sure what the next step up is. But the next step is nice because I think you can add a few additional. Yeah. Not entirely sure how many months I've been in Kick. Maybe 4, 5, 6. I don't remember. Twitch I've been trying to do for a long time, but that's been a slow uptake. I only have like 100 people following on Twitch. But Kick, I don't even know how many people follow. Honestly, we've never really had anybody join that has messaged. I'll be in the UK until Sunday. So. Sorry, I got a bunch of people blowing me up. Oh, there you go. Curtis and Sammy Pecky's wearing the same hat. But yeah, excited to be here, man. 12 minutes, 51 seconds after. It looks like it'll be, I don't know how I missed how long they said it would be. But for those of you guys that do follow it, Dutch Bros is also doing their earnings report tonight. So I believe the market closes is an hour. I'm not good with this whole UK shift, but I believe the market closes an hour. And if that's the case, then I will be reading the earnings report after the close and kind of doing the deep dive on the presentation itself. And then we'll actually listening to the earnings call. Are you still offering options advice? If so, what platform do I need to sign up? I've never really offered advice because technically I can't ever offer advice because I'm not certified. And so, I mean, I'll tell people what I do, but I don't really ever try to tell people what to do because I don't have the certification to. But and I also don't know everybody's situation, right? So, but yeah, it just depends on what you're doing and what your goals and objectives are. And I think, unfortunately, sometimes people like to get into options because they think it's nice and shiny, but it really also depends on what their goals are. So can't always say whether or not options is like stocks, right? Like you can be like short-term investor, day trader, swing trader, long-term, short seller, So yeah, every question is fine. Just don't know if I can answer everything to the truest extent. Because you never know. It's actually kind of cool that you can see all the different like radar. I guess these are radars that they're hitting. Where the circles are and they're blowing up the blue. Yeah, the shorters on Palantir. We'll see how that goes. Although, yeah, like for example, like people see options and then TJ, for example, I know why he did this, right? But TJ, for example, just bought a 260 call on Palantir, not because he actually thinks it's going to 260, but on the surface. Oh wow, Chris Camillo's interested. Maybe I could chat with him about it. I've never had the opportunity to chat with Chris, but I'd be very curious what his thoughts are, because honestly, I think it's really enticing here down in the $50 range. I wasn't buying it in the 80s, so. Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to add all that banner logo and stuff like that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I need to put a little bit more effort into that. But yeah, so I don't think people recognize, like, TJ doesn't think that it's going to 260. It's just when you buy something at 260, you buy it at a very low price, and the delta, depending on what the delta is, it can move 20, 30, 40%. And so whatever money you potentially put in that, you could do well. So I think a lot of people might be like, oh, but you're going to lose money if it doesn't go to 260. Well, if it stays where it's at, right? But I think what TJ is hoping for is it dropped to the 185 range, and he hopes it goes to, say, 190, 195. And if he bought it at, let's say, 2 cents, which I don't know what he bought it at, but we could just take a quick look. For example, for people that are interested in options, and I'm not giving any advice here. I'm just, talking, what's going on. But I think he said he bought the Jan 26, 260. So he bought the Jan 26 260 for $2.90. And it's at a 13 delta. So for every dollar it moves in the positive direction, it'll increase 13 cents. So, but the theta is also 7 cents. So basically, if it moves in the right direction very quickly, like let's say it moves up $5, you're going to be getting, a dollar on that. So it goes from 290 to 390. Yeah, it's a 30% return very quickly. So I think that's what he's more so doing it for. So, what was I going to do? I was going to do something. Electron. Oh yes. So yeah, sum of this colon, that. Whoops. Sum of that colon M33 minus minus the sum M33 to M33 minus this minus W33. And then I'm basically trying to make it so I can create a graphic like Scotto has. What the heck? So sum minus sum minus 1. Did I do something wrong? Maybe it's supposed to be a plus? No. So sum M33, let's see. Anyway, I'll have to fix that, but I basically want to make a running tally of that. But yeah. What else are the people buying? Have people been buying Rocket Lab on the dip? I'm curious to see where it's actually at. It was in the 150s. Sorry, not 150s, the 50s. And it's still $56. So Not a bad price. I'm curious when my purchase order went through. November 17th, December 1st. I bought some on the 31st. Dang. 31st, it was 61. Womp womp. But I mean, I have some extra money in the checking. Maybe I throw 100 or something. Down 12% in the last week. From 72.58. I'm curious now. What are we from all-time highs? 56, 52, divided by about 72.58, minus 1. So about 22% from all-time highs, which is pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Let's see. Let's see. Waiting for a bigger dip. No cash right now. Interested in Black Sky. Black Sky, I'm curious if they're going to maintain profitability. I haven't really followed them too much, but you know, you kind of have to watch dilution on that. You never know. They've been diluting shareholders pretty wild. And some people are saying Rocket Lab does the same, but I mean, it's not horrible comparatively. At 35 to 45, that's a good price too. Sometimes you just got to add though. Scratching up the money. Rocket Lab's been a lower priority. Your position's mostly full. Hey man, you gotta, as long as you're acknowledging that, I think that that's more mature of you to acknowledge that you're completely booked up, you know, on a position, and you don't want to risk any more than that. I think that's great. Is Rocket Lab a clear leader in its industry? It's the number 2 for sure in the United States, and in terms of the most launched vehicles, they are within the top 3. SpaceX and China, I think all of China, um, and Rocket Lab. So if you're looking at the clear number 2 in the United States in terms of total launches, it's Rocket Lab for sure. I'm not used to the cap being stuck on the top, so sorry. I'm drinking it like a weirdo. But it's going to 40 after Neutron. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a solid news event, but you know, I just continue to buy. You know, I can't predict it. So every time I have a little bit of money, I buy some. Just bought 10 shares. We got Miss Lisa. Ed, what's going on? Aren't they like real-time Google Earth? Oh, you mean Black Sky? Yeah, they do a pretty good job. It's interesting though. The competition is quite tough there. I mean, you have Planet Lab, you have Black Sky. You meant Neutron delay. I still think sell the news with Neutron launch. I think people will get hyped up, and it'll be a bunch of profit taking, and after that, I think you'll have a sell off personally. So. But yeah, there's a lot of companies out there, and I think it's going to be tough to compete because they don't have launch, and so they'll always have to pay for launch, unless they're really killing it, you know. But I think you look at somebody like SpaceX, and I think they've been able to do well because they own Sky, and I'm not saying for anybody that's out there, I'm not saying like, oh my God, sell your shares and try to buy it back. I'm not selling, so I'll just buy more if it dips. You can never tell what the price is. You can't forecast what the price is going to be. So sometimes you just, you know, have to ebb and flow as the price moves, you know. But I strongly think that it'll dip to an extent. But there's a lot of companies that do what Black Sky, Planet Lab, and a lot of them do. So not to say that that's not going to do well, but I just think there's such a large expense associated with launch that it's hard to compete with somebody like SpaceX or whoever can fly their own rockets and fly their own constellation. So I feel like I'm not 100% certain as to what the constellation is going to be for Rocket Lab, but I think it'll be a great opportunity to continue to make a lot of money, because whoever else is in the space is likely to be have to charge more money because they can't possibly, or their margins are going to be less, right? So they could end of the day charge people the same amount for the satellite, but then whatever profit they make on the satellite itself is going to have to be going towards paying, Rocket Lab to launch their vehicle or somebody else to launch their vehicle. So very tough. Very, very tough. Well, all right, all. So the market closes at 9. When is my stream for Dutch Brothers? My stream is at 9:15. Okay, good. I was kind of curious. For some reason thought I put it at 8:30. So this time zone thing is because like I have to relate everything to Eastern, right? Because I live in Central, but I'm not in Central. I'm in the UK, so I have to anyway. I'm trying to, and plus daylight savings. Daylight savings in the UK happened before it happened in the United States. So I keep forgetting if we're, if I'm 6 hours behind or only 5 hours. Like it's insane. It's not that bad, but still getting adjusted to these time zones as well. I was thinking about it actually. I was thinking if you're an executive and you travel globally a lot, do you just book meetings in your normal time zone so that you can stay, you know what I mean? Like if you book important meetings or something like that, of course there's going to be certain ones, but do you take naps during the day to try to maintain your normal cadence? Because let's say you're only there for 2 days, right? You don't want to try to adjust to a certain schedule if you're just going to come back for a week or something like that to your home base, right? Let's say it's Texas, or let's say it's, even. So anyway, I was just kind of thinking about that. I was like, do you just sleep until a certain amount, wake up? Do you keep your normal cadence and you just wake up for however many hours you need to perform or do your meeting or whatever, and you just go back to normal cadence? Or how does that work, right? I don't travel enough to know and have the tips, but what I will say is that it's much easier to go to the United States from the UK than it is, because for me it's harder to how do I say this, stay up and be ahead by 5 or 6 hours than it is to stay up longer for 5 or 6 hours. So cool. If we had an augmented reality experience, what? But all right, appreciate the 100 of you guys stopping by. People on X, people on Twitch, people on Kick, people on YouTube. It's been a lot of fun. Appreciate it. We have number 74 up in the air. Fingers crossed that we have a successful launch. But what percentage are we at? So we are at 70 divided by 74 minus 1. So we're getting closer to that 95%. We are very close. You can round up. It's 94.6% success at the moment. So let's see. If you do 71 divided by 75, even still, I mean, to get to that elusive, let's see if it's 76 divided by 80. Yep. In order to get to exactly 95%, you need to get to 76. Sorry, you need to get to 80 total launches. So 76 successes, 80 total launches. And that's where we're at. But all right, if you guys want to follow for Dutch Brothers, feel free to hit the sub button, and we'll be live for that in just over, or just under an hour, I should say. But I'm going to do some other stuff, like some work, and I will see you guys then. Much appreciated for you guys hanging around and listen to banter. And as I said, I think Rocket Lab's doing a way better job these days to increase their talking time, and they really shrink it down because they used to go like half an hour before and stuff like that, and used to have a lot more downtime and ability to chat, and it used to make my job easier because then I'd just be able to like try to entertain people in between when they're saying something that's very fun. But they're doing a lot better to fill the airspace, which is fine. You know, they're entitled. It's their airspace, and I just piggyback off of it. But would love to continue to interact with you guys and chat with you guys. Unfortunately, I don't give you opportunity to chat in their chat. Otherwise, it probably gets super toxic or something like that. Bunch of SpaceX fanboys or something. So, all right, you guys rock. Thank you. I'll see you guys hopefully in the next 45 minutes. Cheers.